I would say I was incredibly delighted at the quality of work. I think we all understand how challenging it has been to work, in many cases, remotely for the last 18 months. And certainly creative work is very hard to do remotely. I think there's many challenges that come with developing creative concepts, and particularly in the music area, where you have so many collaborators on a campaign, to see the quality of work, even better than, expected. So I'll rephrase that again. I think to see the quality of work was above and beyond anything I expected to see, because obviously, there's challenges of working and the way everybody has had to adapt to work in the last 18 months. And I think to see really excellent ideas and agencies and brands really pushing their creative agenda, and the music choices as well. I think that was really exciting to see, because I think everybody on our panel has been through this in the last 18 months and appreciates how challenging it has been for everybody to keep that consistency of work up to standard. I think we were a jury that was fair. I think we all understand how hard it is to have delivered that quality of work over the last 18 months. And we understood that all of the entries, the effort and work and time it is taken to deliver these amazing campaigns. That said, we kept coming back to what was brilliant and best in class. And I don't think we made allowances for the fact that working environments have been difficult for everybody, because I think as a global pandemic, everybody was experiencing fairly similar challenges in that respect. So I guess we were very keen to award excellent work and kind of come back to the barometer of the LIAs and make sure that this really is it was about recognizing the best in class across the board. With the 5 gold winners, I think that the thing that stood out with all of those music choices and the way the music had been used, that it was really something original. There were many nominations that were shortlisted that were reworkings of songs and existing music. And I suppose it comes back to how we as a jury evaluated the work. And I think that extra mile that is required when creating an original track and an original score is just something, it's just that extra part. And I think we wanted to recognize that, it's very hard to find the right song from the banks that matches perfectly with your campaign. But I would also say it's even harder to create something that can be very delicate. And certainly the campaign Break the Silence was a very difficult subject area, and the music that was scored for that was so powerful, and the backstory of how that piece was recorded was interesting. But even without knowing that and judging that campaign on the music alone, that track really connected with all of us. And I guess that's what we were always looking for, particularly for the gold standard pieces, was something that excited us and made us move emotionally. I think Break the Silence for all of us on the jury this year was such a powerful campaign. The story behind how that music had been recorded was exciting and really interesting. I think the execution of it was incredible. I think we all agreed that the production of the track was, you know, a difficult thing to deliver well. And the campaign itself, there was no words. It was a very simple message, and somehow the score that the team had put together for that said 1,000 words, and it was just so powerful. And I think for all of us, we all agreed that it needed to be gold. But when we looked at it in comparison to the other work that had been submitted, it was just such a standout piece of music and a brilliant execution. And we all agreed that was the one campaign that for us, if we wanted to award a grand this year, it needed to go to Break the Silence. For me, being a jury on this panel was a real privilege. And what I loved about all of the other members of our jury was the expertise and passion and understanding of the work and craft that had gone into all of the entries. And so there was real consideration for every single one that we were asked to review and to shortlist. And I think one thing that was very important that I really loved about our jury is, as we were going through our finalists and making our awards, was the consideration that members had given to campaigns that had perhaps been overlooked or perhaps had been submitted to the wrong category. And I think original score was one that we pulled out entries that had been submitted into other sections and brought them in because we felt that they'd been overlooked in their original category. And actually, this is something that I would encourage anybody considering to submit their work for future LIAs, is to really think about all the different categories your work could fit into, because we saw a lot of work that perhaps wasn't best at home in the category that they'd been submitted for. And I think that was, you know, credit to my jury for having sort of that, keeping a keen eye on making sure that really excellent work like the Beats campaign and the original score with Solange wasn't overlooked in the category they'd been submitted for and was pulled into a category that we felt was much more deserving of.